Hi folks, how you doing? Just wanted to go over a couple of these tax returns. We went over these in class, and obviously since you guys are online, I thought I'd make this video. So if you take a look in Canvas, I'd uploaded this document here. And basically what the document is, truthfully, the best way to do these problems, frankly, scrolling up and down with these things drives me crazy. So I take this information up here at the top, right? And basically I copied it all for you, put it on those papers. So if you print that out, you won't have to scroll up and down, okay? So my suggestion, when you go to do one of these problems, the best thing for you to do is obviously print that out and then figure out what everything is. Is it going to be taxable? It's not going to be taxable. What document would it go on? Things like this, okay? So let's take a look. Let's walk through it. So here we have the W-2 for Carl, and these folks are married, right? And so this is Carl's income. So that's going to go on the 1040. It's line 1A, okay? And here's his wife's information, and that 31. So these two together, they're going to go on line 1A on the 1040. Okay, and obviously this information, the address and stuff is going to go at the top. Okay, now the next item here, it says they got a 1099 INT. That's interest. Now interest goes on Schedule B. Okay, and they got $2,450 from Global Bank. Okay, so that goes on Schedule B, and then after it's on Schedule B, right, it winds up in taxable interest, and that's 2B on the 1040. So it goes from Schedule B to line 2B on the 1040. And we'll take a look at that as soon as we go through this, okay? They also got some tax-exempt interest, okay? The tax-exempt interest, although it's not taxed, they do make you put the information on the 1040. It's on the front page of the 1040. Let's see. That goes in 2A, okay? That goes in 2A. Now the next item we have here is jury duty. So you're probably going, wow, jury duty pay. What goes on with that? Well, whenever you get an oddball pay thing that's not a 1099, right? Take a look at Schedule 1. This one goes on Schedule 1, and there's actually a line on Schedule 1 for $45. It's 8H, okay? All right, you with me so far? Okay, now, next thing it says, Carl received 2 weeks of workers' compensation pay for $3,100. Now, workers' comp, because you were injured, it's not taxable, okay? However, just to keep in mind, unemployment compensation is, okay? Unemployment compensation is, okay? The next thing they tell you about their son, Carl Jr., he's 7 years old, gave you his birthday and everything. And notice they say they are entitled to a $2,000 tax credit. Okay. Now, for the tax credit, it winds up showing up on the page 2 of the 1040, but you have to fill out something called an 8812. Okay. And the reason why is because there's actually a phase out. Now, it's actually quite high, but there is a phase out. Okay. So now that we have all that information, let's go and take a look at the solution. Okay. So here, so obviously, name, social security number, address, all that kind of stuff. Married filing jointly, they told you that. They didn't mention anything about digital assets, but because they didn't, just say no. Okay. Then here they give you this information about the son, social security number, and there's the child tax credit. Now this is where you added, let's see, what were they? 75,000 and change and 31,000. That's this number right here. Okay. Now we go down here. Okay, so this comes down to here. Then notice tax exempt interest. This is in 2A, right? Now it's just information. It's not taxable, but they want the information here. And then there's the taxable interest they got on that 1099. Okay. Now here's the $45. Notice it says additional income from Schedule 1, line 10. Okay, so there's the total. And now Here is the standard or itemized deduction. So they didn't give you anything about itemized deductions. So therefore, it's going to wind up being the standard deduction. Now this is 27.7. The reason why, this came from another book, and they're doing it based on the tax year of 2023. So now here's their taxable income. Okay. Now let's go to page 2. I'm going to go to 1040, then I'll show you those other items. Okay. Now, so here's page 2 of the 1040. This is the amount of tax they owe. There's that $2,000 tax credit. Notice it says Schedule 8812. See, it tells you what the other schedule you're supposed to be looking at, right? The same thing with page 1 here. Notice it says this came from Schedule 1, line 26, okay? So this is what they owe. This is what they paid in tax. So here's their refund, okay? Now let's go look at those other documents. Okay, here's Schedule 1. So if you look, take a look. There's alimony received. Again, that's before January 1, 2019. Business income or loss, that would be on a Schedule C. See it right there? Right there. All these different items. And if you go down here, look, there's jury duty pay. There's the $45 right there. Go down to the bottom, and it says, this is your additional income. Enter it here on Form 1040, line 8. And that's where we entered it on the 1040 we looked at. Now let's go look at Schedule B. Okay, so Schedule B is interest and ordinary dividends. Here you go. It's got the people's name on it, the Social Security number, right? Global Bank, $2,450. What does it tell you to do with it? It tells you enter the result here, put it on line 2B. That was the taxable amount of interest. Okay. Now, let's go take a look at 8812. So they ask you line 11. This is their income. There's the child tax credit. And then look, it says enter the amount shown in your filing status. Married filing jointly, $400,000. That's basically the cutoff point right there. So you just follow this all the way through, and there it gives you $2,000. Here's the worksheet for 8812. Okay, here's the credit limit worksheet. So the credit limit worksheet, what it is that you cannot, with this particular credit, depending upon the year, they take a look. So this says this is how much tax you owed, and that $2,000 is what's lowering it. Okay, all right, folks, that's it for the first problem. I'll be back with the next one in just a minute.